Hey guys, my name is Jeremy with West Kentucky Woodworking. I'm an engineer during the day, but on nights and weekends, I'm a hobbyist woodworker here in my garage. My favorite thing to do is work with burls and epoxy to make really high-end and sometimes customized serving boards and charcuterie boards. And the Harvey Alpha 615 allows me to rip down burls to a good working size. When you're working with burl material, sometimes it's very thick and this would not be a good working width, but this big high-powered bandsaw allows me to rip down these hard burl pieces into a good working width. I'm going to show you a couple rips and then we'll take a look at some epoxy.
Here you can see me getting my piece set up for the rip. I am first checking my overall height to make sure the piece is going to clear the lower guards, and then we're setting up our safety bow device in place. This safety device puts an even pressure against the fence and won't allow any movement or kickback. We're going to power the machine on, and you'll see how smooth the 615 rips through this hard burl material. This piece is a little over 13 inches tall at its maximum height, so you can really see how much power this has even towards the end when it doesn't even slow down. And then we have a really nice book matched burl. We're gonna rip this piece down one more time. Before I had this bandsaw, I would just be planing this material to working thickness and losing out on all this extra material. And you can see how thin and even we're going on this last piece. Again, we have a book matched working piece, and then our waist piece is like an 1/8 inch veneer. Very nice. So once we have our pieces ripped off the bandsaw, we can go straight over here to the pour station and set our epoxy molds into place. The piece that I just showed you, I've got a little over pour going, but that fit in this medium-sized mold. Here's a larger mold that we use some burl pieces on that'll come out similar to this once we cut the profile on the CNC. And here is another example of a blank that I'm waiting on a client to give me some personalized information for. So, you know, working with burls, I've got a stockpile of some burl pieces down here. Having the ability to rip these down on the bandsaw just allows me to not waste a ton of material, because for instance, with the red piece I just showed you, instead of losing half of that material, I now have a whole nother burl piece for another board. So this machine gives me the power to rip that I need to cut some of these large, big burls. Coming up next, we have 3 quick time-lapse pours for you, just to give you a kind of behind the scenes of how these epoxy and burl pieces come to life. The 615 bandsaw is not the only Harvey machine that I own. I also have the Harvey G-700 dust processor hooked up and hard piped to all of my tools, including the bandsaw. The dust processor is perfect for my shop because I'm tight on space, and its horizontal profile allows me to situate it underneath a workbench and not lose any suction power. I hope you enjoyed this quick look into my workshop and why I love my Harvey products.